Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, good afternoon. Welcome back to Friday at 4, episode 51. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You realize 51, which means, well, there's two thoughts with that. One is we're not Area 51, which is a good thing. Um, but see, I figured that out, right? But it's now our next 50. Our next milestone is 100. Already looking forward to it.
I like that. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You know,
that's good stuff.
I figured I'd start TikTok live. Why not?
Sure, go ahead.
Why not? All right, we are loading. Something went wrong. Okay, well, it didn't work. Having technical difficulties over here. Well, I guess this is still working for us, hopefully.
Yeah, okay. We'll find
It
out.
still it still says recording, so hey, you know. Anyway, so let's go ahead and dive into this thing. So I know we had bounced an idea earlier about experience and
Uh-huh.
talking about our experience and experiences that we experience in our businesses. And I think one of the cool things, well, we share probably 30, 40 50 years experience between each other. I mean, we have a lot, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, we have a lot
yeah.
of experience between each other.
It's experience. So there's really two ways to look at experience. High level. One way is, do you have 1 year of experience repeated over and over again for the next 10, 15, 20 years? Or do you continue to learn? Do you go to school? Do you watch videos, social media, continuing education, so that you
Yeah,
can maintain updated knowledge to help whatever your client base looks like? So again, are you 1 year repeated over and over, which means you really don't know anything going on anymore because you're dealing with something that's 10, 15, 20 years old, or are you current? So that's a big thing about experience.
yeah. I think one of the cool things about my career is and I reflected on this earlier as we talked about, this to share this idea, this topic.
Mm.
I'm going back to when, I was 15 years old and got my first job. Every job that I had
Mm.
has been some sort of touch on customer service
Mm.
for me personally. Everything that I've done was evolved around customer service. Grocery
Mm.
store. I was stocking groceries. I helped bag the groceries. I ran the candy counter. I helped out back at the meat counter. Pizza, right? I helped answer the phones. I made pizzas. And as I, went through life, I carried money and a gun for a living. So I
Mm.
helped get their money safely and on, right? Customer service and the call center. And then, I mean, it just, everything that I've done, it's been centered around helping people in customer service. And I've been consistent. I never really thought about that until, I had bounced this idea off you this morning about, hey, I think let's talk about this today on Friday at 4. You know what I mean?
Whether we are aware of it or not, and in many cases we're not because we were never taught, but everything that we do, we touch a customer.
Hmm.
If you're in a business, the customer could be the person sitting at the desk next to you, because
Yeah.
what you do, you give whatever work you do to that person so they can do their work. They're your internal customer.
Yeah.
People sometimes think customer is the external person, the person who buys your good or service and pays for it. And yes, they are, but it's internal as well as external.
Yeah. Yeah.
So customer service, and you just went through a whole bunch of things that you did. They are very important things to do to make yourself more valuable, more interesting, whatever. But even in a business perspective, everybody's a customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more experience you have, and it doesn't have to be you're always in banking, always in finance,
Yeah.
always in car sales, always, always, always. It doesn't matter. The
Yeah.
more experience you have of dealing with people and honing the skills of ask a question and stop talking and listen to the answer.
Yeah.
Don't listen to understand. Don't listen to respond, because then you're not really listening to what the person is saying to you.
Yeah.
And it is a tough skill to build. It really is.
It
But
is.
listen to understand, then respond.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge one because sometimes I get caught in that, right? I'm listening to somebody talk and I can't wait for them to shut up because I want to talk. I want to tell you what I got. I got something. Shut up now. Let me talk again, you know? So I get caught in that, you know? I do. Yeah. I'm so passionate about what I do, you know, that it
Mhm.
drives me to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and talk, talk, talk. And then sometimes I gotta be like, Chuck, relax, shut up, and just listen.
Being passionate is really good. It
Yeah.
is, because in theory, and it's not even in theory, it's been proven, when somebody is really passionate about what they do, they tend to do a better job. They will spend more time on it to make sure it's a good thing, because again, their name is attached to it and they like it. They want to do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you talk to other people, have you ever heard of the be interested versus interesting?
Wow, it's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's a thing that's going around. When you speak with someone, and again, you've heard the one mouth, two ears thing where you're supposed to
Oh yeah.
talk
Yeah.
and then keep quiet and listen twice as much as you talk.
Listen more than you talk.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. When I sit there, and I'm going to use you as the example, if we're going to have a conversation and I say, hey, Chuck, tell me about something, for me to listen and not interrupt means I am interested.
Yeah.
People love to talk. You just said it, and I agree with you. People love to talk. If you let them talk, they will think more of you because you listened to them and you're interested.
Yeah.
If you do all the talking, you're interesting to yourself, but you probably tuned everybody else in the room out. So be interested in somebody else. Don't be the most interesting person in the room. It's
Yeah.
just like they say
And
you should never be the smartest person in a room. You're in the
yeah.
wrong room.
Yeah. And to tie on to that, body language says a lot too. Way people stand, the eye contact, their
Yep.
complete body language says a lot about whether they're interested or interesting, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it fits, you know?
it does. I
Yeah.
was talking with somebody yesterday. He's a local guy that does promo stuff, and he created something for me that I needed, and he delivered it to me, which he didn't have to do, but he did. And came into my house and was standing in the kitchen, and we talked for like 5 minutes. And at the end of the 5 minutes, he said to me, "You never stopped looking at my eyes." And I said to him, similar to what I had said a few minutes ago, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of being interested in the other person. And you're really listening to what they're saying. So when you do then respond with something, it's something they just said. So if they talk about, I don't know, your shirt being blue, and all of a sudden you say to them, oh, yeah, I need to go and buy a new car this weekend. You have not listened to them at all, because they were talking about their shirt, you're talking about the car. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's part of listening, being interested. And it's all part of building a relationship. When you go for a job, when you talk to your boss, your employer, a vendor, somebody, you got to
Hmm.
pay attention to them. And that's the consistency piece of experience.
You beat me to it because I was going to say, I wanted to listen while you talk right now. I don't want to just cut in and run my mouth, but that's ties right into what we're talking about experience. I mean, you learn these things, right? So many things that we've learned over the years because we're not any spring chickens anymore. We're getting up there in age, and we've learned a lot. We've learned what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do, and we're still learning, and we're constantly learning. We're learning
Yep.
every day.
Yep.
You know, nobody's perfect. We are human. We're going to constantly make mistakes, and I do it all the time. I say, "Oh, I shouldn't have did that. Oh well." Keep moving. Learn from it.
You're going to keep
You know,
moving.
yeah,
So, as an example, and I'm only using this as an example, the car industry, car salesmen have a bad rep. They do. And in some cases, it's justified. In many cases, it's not, but it's the overall perception. There was recently, I think it was last year, there was something that went around on the internet where Steph Curry, the basketball player, his mother went in to buy a car. Now, obviously, Steph Curry has a nice amount of money, okay? His mother went in to buy a high-end car. And based upon her looks and the perception of the person who was waiting on her, he made the decision that she should not be there buying that type of car. But again, it's that very, very, very small number of people who believe that. But again, it ruins the reputation for everybody. So
yeah,
he went in and he had a whole program for that manufacturer, which again, I'm not mentioning. He had that whole manufacturer revise their plan to say everybody should be treated the same way.
yeah,
Because again, it's those few, few, few people who ruin the reputation for everybody.
yeah.
But it's the experience of Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, and I've mentioned this before, wrote a book called Blink.
I actually have it,
I read it
and
twice.
I read it.
That's a good thing. Okay.
That's a that's a good book.
But for those of you who are not familiar with the book, what the essence of the book says, when you first meet someone and you look at them, the
Split
blink, the
second.
snap of a finger, you already made a judgment.
Yes, you did.
And how many times is that judgment wrong?
Mhm.
Based on experience, you would have the conversation, get to know the person. I'm not talking hours, but even 5, 10, 15 minutes. Get
Yeah,
to know the person.
yeah,
Why are they there? What are they looking for? How can you help them?
yeah.
And that comes from experience.
Right. And to tie off what you said just a couple minutes ago about car selling, I don't know how much I can say publicly and recording on this podcast, but I do want to give a shout out to my buddy who I've known him since 2008,
Mm,
and I was turned on to him to buy a car, and I have since bought 5 cars myself from him, and my
nice.
daughter bought one from the same car salesman who
Okay.
is a great guy.
Yeah.
We're friends to this day. We talk, and I don't know how much I can say about where he works and what he
Yeah.
works for, what
Don't,
he
don't,
does,
don't
but
go.
I,
Yeah.
I don't. But I want to give a shout out to him because
Mhm.
he's an honest, genuine guy who
Right.
I send people his way all the time because
Yep.
he's on the trust in the car industry.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a relative who's been, and his wife have been in the auto industry 40 years,
Mhm.
35 years.
Yeah.
again, also both of them super honest, great, helpful, caring, treats everybody the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's that very small number of people. And that's in any business. I'm just saying the car industry, but it's in any business. There's
Yeah.
always those few that ruin
Yeah.
it for the mass. And it's unfortunate because people
It
really
is,
want
isn't it?
to.
Yeah. And I think like we're talking about it ties to experience, right? So if we have good experiences with people and we trust them,
Mhm.
it goes a long way to being a repeat customer and have
Yes.
repeat loyalty, you know? And that ties to a couple of things I want to talk about. I wrote them down. A couple of things I want to talk about just real quick because I know we're short on time.
No, go ahead.
But attention to detail, genuine customer care, and turning feedback into growth. And I think that's the biggest one I want to hit on right now, because I
Yep.
can hit on the other two later. Turning feedback into growth, because I'm getting hit with this a couple of times where people aren't really open to negative feedback. Not really negative
Mm,
feedback, but
mm,
not perfect feedback, right?
right.
So, feedback, whether it's positive or negative, is one of the most valuable tools that any business
Mhm.
can receive.
Correct.
The best businesses don't just listen, right? They act. And that's key, right? Because using feedback as a roadmap for improvement, that's key, right? Roadmap for improvement.
Hmm.
Turning criticism into change not only strengthens the business, but it also shows customers that their voice matters, right?
Yes.
So, you take what I just said, and you know, if I say the burger was undercooked, the lettuce was wilting, just something I made up, the French
Mm,
fries were cold, and I come to you and show you that, have a picture, I tell you about it, you really should stop and listen and say, well, tell me more about your experience. What happened? How do I
mhm.
fix it? Not turn me away, get mad at me, tell me you're just being a jerk because you're just one of those reviewers and you're a foodie and you're a jerk
Mm,
and I don't want to see you on business ever again. And I have felt that way in their
mm.
most recent visit. And I'm saying that here on this podcast because it's happened. And I feel
Mm.
like, you know, these businesses did not want constructive criticism and feedback for their business. Kind of broke me a little bit, because you would expect a business to want this type of feedback
Mhm.
better themselves going forward, right?
A business, and regardless of the business, everybody thinks that they're doing a great job. And some are, and some are not. But without that constructive, independent perspective on what can be done better, the potential is to start losing customers. And bad reputations travel a lot faster than good reputations.
Yeah.
So while it is an ego hit for somebody to come in and say, oh, the lettuce may not have been right, the fries were cold, it should be taken as a positive, because how many more positive reviews will you get when you upgrade? So even existing people that come in will notice the difference and spread it.
Well, think about this. I went to your business. It wasn't a perfect visit.
Mhm.
I podcast about it. I put it up on my website. People see it. And they go, oh, I'm not going there. That's crazy, right? Versus you came on my podcast. I didn't have a perfect experience. We talked about it. You acknowledged it. We talked about a game plan of how you're going to make it right going forward. And then we post it. People are going to respond to that way better than if I just put up something that happened and there's no response at all.
Correct. Correct. It's hard to say, yes, I could be better. But if you take it the right way, the benefits are huge.
Yeah. Every time I talk to somebody or I show my QR code from my website to my show, the first thing I say to them, watch my episodes, enjoy my show. Please give me feedback. I want to know what you think, good, bad, ugly. I am open to feedback.
Yeah.
And I've gotten some ugly feedback early on. And I think I fixed some of the things that people, weren't keen on, And as I go through these shows, it's got my personality in it. It's got what I
Okay.
want in it because it's mine.
Right. Right.
But I'm showing you what my vision of what I want my business to look like. And I have been open to that constructive criticism, and it does not hurt my feelings at all. Somebody could comment, post, or email me and say, dude, your show sucks. I'd say, well, tell me why.
Right.
Help me make it better, you
Right.
know?
Right.
Which I don't think it does. I've never heard that it does yet, but I mean, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I want to put it out there that don't stick your head in the sand and just think you're doing a great job. And also don't get hurt because something was not perfect.
Correct.
And this all stems back to coming from experience. The more you do, the more you learn, the better you're going to be.
Experience, it's a tricky thing because when you're young, you don't have the experience. So how do you then figure out what you want to do, how you want to do, when, where? It's tough. As we get, I'm going to call it more seasoned, as opposed to calling us older, right? But as we get more seasoned,
More
um,
seasoned.
it's not like I'm cooking a chicken or something. You got to season
Cooking
it.
a turkey,
Anyway,
man. It's almost Thanksgiving.
yeah, exactly. Season the turkey. Um, but once we have that experience and we start to gain the years, you now know what questions to ask, maybe what documentation, what websites to go to. It makes it easier for you and for the person you're sitting down helping. But when you're young, the way to really get the experience, if you want to, is to find somebody who is a little bit older. And if they'll allow you to tag along and see what they do and how they do so that you can gain. Doesn't mean you can't change things. Everybody works differently. We are individuals. But if you don't have that initial going in, you could miss the mark by a mile with a
Yeah.
customer and never realize it.
Yeah. What I did going through the careers I went through were multiple years of different careers. The longest span was 16 years, in the
Mm,
customer service call center. But what I was very good at was asking questions and listening. And that's how I grew because I know I didn't know it all. I knew I was good, but you really have to take in consideration when someone that's mentoring you, listen to what they have to say. They had the experience. They've been where you are,
right.
and they have 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years more experience than you. They may not know it all themselves, but they've been where you are and they can help you,
Yes.
get there.
Right. Right.
So,
It,
yeah,
it's important to talk to people who have that experience because, like you said, they've, it's like parents who have younger kids and the kids, again, some kids are really good and some kids test the limits. And I get that. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying this is the way it is.
happens.
And my kids did the same thing. They were
Yeah.
testing the limits. And when they tried to do something that I knew was wrong, I would always say to them, so you think that what you're trying to do is unique? Remember, I went through the same things you went through over and over and over. You're not getting away on me. You're not getting over. And then the biggest thing that we used when the kids were young is if they were behind us, you could hear what they were doing and you would make a comment. And they'd say, how do you know what I'm doing? And the line would always be, I have eyes in the back of my head. And
Yeah.
it took them years before they figured out. I really didn't, but I
Yeah.
had the same experience. I could tell by the sounds what they were doing. Like, did you know that?
How
Because
did
I'm
you know that?
smarter than you.
Yeah. My
I've been
parents
there
use that one as
before.
well. I got eyes in the back of my head, boy. Don't even try it. Okay, Dad.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. That was interesting. We had some good times though.
Yeah. What a great topic. I like this today. I had a whole different game plan with this, but I think the way it went was good because it got us to really open up a little bit about experience, right? Because I
Mhm.
think, this, even on like TikTok, I'm sure there's a broader range of people on TikTok who are watching.
Mhm.
And there's
Right.
a broader range of people who are watching when we put this podcast live up on my site, knowing all the
Mm.
platforms. I think if everybody at whatever level you're at, if you just take a second to listen to someone, don't think you know it all, just listen to what this person is trying to tell you. Just because you're 27 and I'm 55 doesn't mean I know more than you. The 27-year-old might have some experience in something more than I might. Just listen,
Mhm.
you know? I don't think age really has to do anything with it, but the older we get, the more experience we get, the more we can help the younger generation get through, whatever they're going through or dealing with, right?
The collective experience can make anybody better.
Yeah.
You're right. The 27-year-old these days knows a million times more than I do on the social media aspect. And I can learn and I try to learn as much as I can. But if they're looking for something maybe on the financial, in my case, on the financial side, they may not know what I know. So it makes sense for them to listen to me, get some ideas, how to do something better, faster, missing documentation, missing websites, missing something to get a better customer experience. So it does work both ways if both sides are willing to work together.
Yeah. The experience you have with the financial industry, I mean, there should be no reason why somebody shouldn't trust you to say, well, this is Steve's industry. Let's hear what he has to say about
Right.
saving me money or helping me out.
In any industry, and there are some more than others, the health industry, the finance industry, there are so many things to learn that experience really matters.
Yeah.
Experience matters, being licensed matters. I get people coming in all the time. My cousin Joe told me to do. Well, is your cousin Joe, number one, licensed? No. Does your cousin Joe have any experience? No. If what cousin Joe tells you to do doesn't work, you realize cousin Joe is going to run out of town quickly before you find him because you lost money because of what he told you.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in certain industries that could be life threatening, financially threatening.
Yeah.
Make sure they're experienced, make sure they have the license so that they are legally allowed to talk about certain things. It's
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah. And that side's hard for me because other than the certifications that I have, it's hard for me to prove my experience. I mean, I've got 25 years experience in customer service and growing,
Mm,
and it's hard to prove that other than my testimonials. And
right.
I have those. I still have the files from my first business still in my
Okay.
closet,
Good.
of all the customers I had over the country and
Mm,
the ones that were big paying customers.
yeah.
So yes, I am for real. Steve and I are real people with real experience, and we know our businesses.
Only comes through time. Comes through time.
Yeah,
Do we do everything right the first time? Probably not, but it's how you fix it and then learn going forward that really counts.
I'm glad you said that we do it right the first time because again, as I went in and made visits to these two businesses that weren't perfect the first time, it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. I'm sure the next 15 times I go in, they're probably going to be awesome,
Right.
you know? But you have to know that this was my first time in. It wasn't perfect. If I was a regular customer, I would not be returning at all. I might not say anything about your business. I'll just keep going and tell 10 people, I went to this place, it was awful. I went to this place, it was awful. And those people were never going to go, right?
No.
Same thing with you, right? If you wrote up a wrong contract, man, that could just be so detrimental to everything you're trying to accomplish for a customer. And you'll lose your license because they're going to tell 10 people, and 10 people tell 10 people before you know it. Steve's out of business.
And
It
even
can happen
more
so
than,
quick.
right. But even more
Yeah.
than that, the stuff that I put into place usually is long term.
Yeah.
So if I don't do the right thing today,
Yeah.
and let's say you're 50 years old, and we set up a retirement plan for when you're 65, if that
It comes
paperwork
back.
was wrong,
Yeah.
and now you get to 65 and the money you thought you were going to have, you don't,
Right.
it's too late. You can't go back and make up those 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's very important that I get it right. And that's why in our company, we have multiple people that review what we do
Yeah.
to
Multiple
know that
touches.
it's on the button every single time. Because
Yep.
you can't go
Love it.
backwards. If you do
Love
something
it.
wrong in the health industry,
Yep.
somebody could die.
You got it.
You
Yep.
can't bring them back.
No.
So it's
Yeah.
so important to do things the right way the first time. And again, every industry is a little different and whatnot, but it's so important. And that's why licensed professionals
Yep.
are the
And that's
people you
why
want
it
to go
comes
to.
down to experience, right? I mean,
Right.
just reach out to guys like us who have experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steve at 516-727-2294.
Yeah. And Chuck at 410-935-6132.
Yeah, reach out to us, man. We're here, Steve,
Yeah.
another great episode, man. Appreciate it.
You
It's
got it.
Friday at 4 because
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
4 o'clock somewhere. Love it. Anybody watch this at 4 o'clock somewhere, it's 4 o'clock. I love it.
Yep.
Steve, thanks again
Sounds
for
good.
coming on. Another good episode.
Yep.
Like I said, I had another way I wanted to position what I had to say, but we can work it for another episode. It doesn't matter because
Yeah.
I love what we do. It's real. It's just two guys talking, and we do what we do because we love to help people.
Right.
Yep.
That's
Hey,
what it
man,
is.
enjoy the rest of the day.
You
Everybody
too.
that's watching, thanks for watching. And
Yep.
Steve, we'll talk soon, buddy.
You got it. Thanks, Chuck.
Take care,
Take care,
man.
everyone.
Enjoy. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.
You too, see you, buddy.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.